Welcome back to another Goof game review. I'm Jacob, and seeing as how the holiday season is almost upon us, I wanted to take a look at a game that came out about a year ago, Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, you may be wondering what this game has to do with Christmas, and the answer is pretty much nothing. But with the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special having recently released on Disney+, it served as a good excuse to review a game that went under the radar for many people, myself included. Guardians of the Galaxy is Square Enix's second go at a Marvel video game, with Marvel's Avengers being their first attempt. After the massive success of Insomniac's Spider-Man game for the PS4 and the general hype around the MCU, people had high expectations for Square Enix's Avengers game, and unfortunately, those weren't met. The game had an alright campaign, but the main push was for the replayable multiplayer missions, which became stale incredibly fast. With those, and the need just to pay extra for a few cosmetics, people wrote the game off not long after its release. While Avengers focused too heavily on the multiplayer aspect, the Guardians of the Galaxy game would be solely a single-player experience. Another developer, that being Eidos Montreal, who were also responsible for the successful Tomb Raider Survivor trilogy, worked on the game, and although it received a lot of praise leading up to its release, after the disaster that was the Avengers game, it didn't receive as much attention as it should have. After deciding to pick it up a year later to see if it was any good, I was surprised to find a compelling story, with actual fleshed out characters as you traverse a range of locations across the galaxy, some familiar and some brand new. Although the game does use elements from the MCU movies that made the characters as popular as they are today, it doesn't rely on them to tell the story, and primarily focuses on the comics as inspiration. As for the story, you follow the Guardians as they unravel a mystery that spans all across the galaxy. Every planet you visit ends up falling under the influence of what a mysterious cult, known as the Universal Church of Truth, describes as the Promise, which takes away your free will as you become lost in a vision composed of a person's deepest desires. There is also a heavy influence on Star-Lord moving on from his past on Earth and accepting his new family, while trying to prevent them from falling apart. Throughout the game, you are only able to play as Star-Lord, which I thought ended up being a good decision the more I played, though I was under the impression you would be able to play as all the Guardians at first. The bond between them is what makes the game work so well, as it truly does feel like they are a family. There are so many Easter eggs, references, and more comic-accurate takes on characters we know from the movies, such as Mantis, who's vastly different from the movie portrayal of the character.
Star Guy, Green Meanie. Okay, bye.
As for the gameplay, I thought it was enjoyable the whole way through. It feels similar to the Avengers game, but with more polish, as you play as Star-Lord throughout the whole game. There are different abilities you can unlock as you progress, and you can even direct the other members of the Guardians, each with their own unique set of abilities. The best feature, however, is huddling up with your team, which, depending on the choice in your speech you give, can give your whole team a boost as Star-Lord throws on his Walkman. It definitely feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy game when you enter the final boss fight as 80s music blares in the background. As I mentioned before, the family aspect is at the center of why this game works so well. While the villainous cult is definitely interesting, it's Star-Lord stepping up as a leader to the rest of the team, as well as becoming a father figure to the mysterious Nikki, who ends up becoming one of the most important characters in the story. Not just that, but each member of the team gets their own moment to shine, as they all go through their own journeys as they become a true family, with Drax especially having his own emotional stake in the plot. Overall, I thought the game was such a fun experience, especially for those who enjoy the movies. While the Avengers game felt as though its characters were simply cheap knockoffs of the MCU's take on the comic book characters, I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy took inspiration from the movies and comics to create something truly unique and worthy of standing on its own. So, what did you think of the Guardians of the Galaxy game? Did you play it last year when it came out, and did you enjoy it? If you haven't played it, hopefully you end up giving it a chance, as it really was a great game that was overshadowed by the hate the Avengers game received. Either way, let me know all your thoughts on the game down below. I'm Jacob. Thanks for watching.